Welcome, Coach Lauren Lewis, certified personal trainer, health educator, and supposedly your online fitness coach. If you clicked on this video, I'm going to be teaching 3 more moves. I say 3 more because I taught you 3 moves last week, so I recommend you click in that video to see what that was all about. I may go into those a little bit again, but I want to give you 3 more moves to work on to start building your strength. It's for my people mostly that are at home, but if you do go to the gym and you're a beginner, you can take these moves and start working on them at the gym. But really, I just want this to be accessible to anyone that's just wanting to start moving the body more, getting stronger. So here are the 3 moves we are going to learn today. We've got the hip hinge, so where we're hinging at the hip. We have the lunge, or some variation of the lunge. And the last one, we're going to do some sort of pulling motion, because last time I showed you the push-up, and now we're going to do an upper body pull. All 3 of these movements are movements you're going to see in any strength and conditioning program. We call these functional movements. We want to be able to do a hip hinge, a lunge, and some sort of pull, so we can then build it into our programming and do all sorts of different variations, load it up with weight, all of that great stuff that you see athletes do. But you're an athlete. I don't care if you're just sitting on the couch right now eating a bag of chips watching this. You've got it in you to do these 3 moves, so how about you try it along with me? All right, let's talk about the hip hinge, which is one that eludes a lot of my clients at first. They're not sure quite how to do it, and it's not quite making sense on how to move the body. The brain is like, wait, you want me to hinge at the hip? I don't get it. Why do we want to hip hinge? Hip hinging is an exercise that's going to then lead into things like deadlifting, things off the floor, doing your Romanian deadlifts, doing kettlebell swings, doing single leg Romanian deadlifts. It could go on and on. Any kind of hip hinging movement, even your glute bridges or your hip thrusts that you see people doing off the bench, that's known as a hip hinge. I like to incorporate a hip hinge even in my warm-ups. I call them good mornings. So the list goes on and on when it comes to using some sort of hip hinge. So the way I teach it to start, I just see if the client even understands what I'm trying to get them to do. And that can be difficult. So you new personal trainers, that's what I recommend to you, is trying to figure out what kind of coaching cues to give, what kind of visual cues to give. I'm going to try to help you out with that even today with this video. All right, so the hip hinge, the way I start it is that we're going to have both feet right under the hips. We are going to give me a slight bend in the knee, so just unlock the knee slightly. Then here comes the hinge part. We are not going to move the knees from here on out. They are already unlocked. They stay like that pretty much the whole time, because now we're going to initiate a hinge at the hip, meaning we're going to push the butt and hips back as far as we can toward the wall behind us, maintaining a nice flat back, and then feeling a stretch through the hamstrings. That's what we're after with the hinge. So things like deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, kettlebell swings, we're trying to target the hamstrings, that's the big muscles in the back of your legs, and even glutes, your booty. Okay, so again, we're going to unlock the knees, hinge, sending the butt and hips back, keeping a nice flat back until we feel that nice stretch in the hamstrings. Once we feel that stretch, we're going to come up to stand, hips through at the top, squeeze your butt at the top. What do I see when I start teaching the hip hinge with new people? What do you think? Rounding of the back. So they unlock the knees, they get that far, and then when I say, okay, now hinge, and I'm not suggesting that that's bad. If you're not picking up weight, you can touch your toes right now. Is your natural movement, your natural inclination, when I say touch your toes, to, just round your back a little bit and touch your toes? Yeah, you're not going, okay, unlock, hinge, and then touch the toes. No. So that's okay if you're like just trying to touch the toes, your back is rounded. We get into it being problematic, I guess you could say, if the back is rounded and we're then going to go pick up something like a barbell. I don't really want to see that from people. I want people to realize that when you do something like a deadlift, it's all leg drive. It's not picking it up with the back. If it's not making sense to you with what I just showed, what we start with on the hip hinge and explaining it, what I'll do with clients is put a bench right behind them, a bench height. Anything lower, like I tried this little box back here, that's a little too low. It needs to be kind of be hitting above the knees. So again, we're starting with feet right under the hips. And then I tell my client to slightly unlock their knees, but it's such a slight unlock because if you unlock too much, you're going to leave the bench. And the point of the bench is to keep contact with it the whole time. So just a slight unlock. It's slight because if I push my knees forward, I'm losing all contact with the bench. So you want to cue yourself or your client to stay in contact with the bench, but now they have to go into that hip hinge. Now, I like this option because it's like, oh, I got to push my butt and hips back and then really reach back to feel that stretch in the hamstrings while maintaining contact with the bench. Because a lot of people will want to automatically go into a knee bend, and that's not what we're after. Only moving at the hip. So keep in contact with the bench. Feel the stretch in the hamstrings. Nice flat back on the way down. Sending the butt and hips back. Excellent. So I think that's a great option. And if you've got a client or you yourself want to really work on targeting the hamstrings and getting that stretch, and you're doing things like RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, have a bench behind you so you do not start bending the knee too much and losing all stretch in the hamstrings. Okay, so that's a way to modify it. The last way I want to modify it for some of you, this is really like stage one of the hip hinge, is I'm going to have you seated, and bench height is fine, maybe even lower is fine. We'll try it with the bench. I'm taking the legs out of the equation, and now this is more just becoming more about a back strengthener and just learning how to hinge at the hip, but we're taking out the complication of the legs. Maybe that is just not working and your brain body is not connecting to that movement. So sitting down, you're going to bring your feet out a little bit wide so you have some room to then touch the floor in front of you. So I would say ankles a little bit out front as well. You're going to sit up nice and tall. I want you to start with good posture, so nice and tall. And then when I say touch the floor, all you're going to do is reach in front of you and touch the floor with fingertips. Come back up. That's all it is. And people are like, really? That's it? I said, listen, we got to start somewhere. You are now hinging really well at the hip, keeping a nice flat back, and you're not doing this number. So if I say reach for a target, just right out in front of you, reach for it, reach, touch, and back up. This is a great beginner way of getting into the hinging of the hip. You can load this. You can have 2 dumbbells here, and I got my little 8s right here to start, and you can just tap the weights down, back up. Now, the key, if you're going to weight it, is keeping that flat back, keeping the spine neutral before you make the pull, instead of going into this and start rounding and have that scared cat look. So I would recommend, though, starting with no weight, just get the movement down first, really reach, and sit back up, keeping a nice flat spine throughout. Okay, so dang, that was the hip hinge. There's a lot there. There's a lot of explanation, which is what seems to be a simple movement, but not really. Okay, we'll move on to the next move. Listen, I'm a coach. I go through all this. I'm coaching you through the movements instead of just like you click and you follow along without any explanation of what you're doing, why you're doing it, how to do it. That's just not going to be me. So if you've already clicked off the video, fine. You don't want to learn. You just want to move around and jump around. Go to someone else's channel. Okay, glad we cleared that up. Trying to find my voice here on YouTube and just letting you know what to expect from my videos when it comes to these workouts. It's not, we don't just jump into it, and I'm not a Zumba instructor. Ooh, shouldn't even say it. Zumba's great. If you want to do Zumba, but I am a strength coach here to tell you how to move so you can get stronger. Okay, rant over. Second move number 2 is lunge, the lunge. Okay, so last time I taught you the squat, we did it very basic with the squat. It was just sitting down. Remember this? Sitting down, standing up. I said later on I will get into more technique work when it comes to the squat, because if you're going to start adding some weight to it, I want to get a little more explanation of what the squat, in my opinion, should look like, or at least attempt to look like. Lunging is now going into a single leg situation, and you see lunges, you know what I'm talking about in those workout videos that you just click on and just go it. She's like, okay, now we are going to lunge, and we're going to do a forward lunge. Forward lunge. Okay, cool. You can do a forward lunge. You could do a traveling, walking lunge down the driveway and back, down the hallway and back. Yeah, lunging. Got it. What's so complicated about that, Lauren? Why do you got to explain any more about the lunge? I want to give a couple of variations or modifications to the lunge, especially for people that go, my knees hurt when I do lunges. So does that mean they need to keep doing forward lunges? Why do you think your knee hurts when you do a forward lunge? Look at all the pressure and force I'm putting in this forward motion on the knee. Now, when we go forward like this, we're definitely going to be targeting the quads more. So when you see lunges from me in workouts, I don't do a whole lot of forward lunging. I like to do reverse lunge. And sometimes I'd rather just stay on one side for a set amount of reps instead of alternating. It just depends. Especially with new people, I'd rather you focus on one leg at a time. One, because you're going to need to work on your balance with this one and coordination. But the other reason is I want you to focus on the working leg. So the leg that's up front is always known as the working leg. And when you do a reverse lunge, and I'll show you from this side, you're going to take a step back, take a knee, and then drive yourself up pretty much through the heel of that working leg, that front leg, to feel glute and hamstring work. Not so much quad. Again, if we do forward lunging, we're sometimes even pitched forward, more weight toward the toes, and that's going to focus a lot onto the quads. If we do a reverse lunge, it's going to allow us to drive through the heel and target hamstring and glute more. And in my experience as a trainer, it has taken pressure off of people's knees to do a reverse lunge instead of a forward lunge. Okay, so there's that. So that is an option, is to do a reverse lunge, which I really like. And of course, if you're advanced, you can load it up with dumbbells, barbell, if you're advanced. But my beginners, I want you to think about taking a knee and driving yourself up. I'll show you from this side. Now, am I bashing my knee to the ground? No, it's just a kiss. And one of my clients, my in-person clients, said, just a peck. I said, there you go. You just a peck to the ground with your knee, just a peck, not bashing yourself into the ground, nice and controlled, and you're just taking a step back. Now, I got a little wobbly there on my left side. It does test your balance. So when it tests your balance like that and you're brand new, have a wall nearby. Hold on to the wall and see if you can do the reverse lunge, tapping your knee just a peck to the ground and then driving yourself up. Now, I realize for a beginner, that actually might be an intermediate move to step back, even with the help of the holding onto the wall, bring the knee down, and then be able to have the strength to drive yourself up tall every time. What I do see beginners, they're struggling because they don't quite have that strength yet, even with the assistance of holding onto a wall. If you had a TRX available to you, I also start there. You can hold on to TRX straps. But now, we're in my garage. I don't have a TRX set up. Wall is tough. What would I suggest doing next then? I would say take out the lunge back part and go into a split squat. So you're in a split squat stance and we're taking this part out of the equation. So it's going to help more with balance issues if we're both feet firmly planted. So when I say a split squat, it's not right behind each other on a tightrope. You're going to kind of widen your base a little bit, like you have a line straight down the middle and you're just going to come off of that line. And now we're just going to still work the front leg, is the working leg, but you're just going to tap the knee down and drive up. Again, hold on to the wall and drive up, but we took the lunge back part. Now this is known as a split squat. Fine, you're still working single leg. I'll show you again from this view. We're holding onto the wall if we need, and we're coming down and driving up This is the working leg, the leg that's up front. I drive up through the heel. You may get some quad. That's okay. I want you to strengthen all of it. So split squat is a nice modification, regressing back from the reverse lunge, stepping back, is keeping both feet firmly planted in a split squat stance and working that. Now depth, I have now shown you every time I have gotten my knee to lightly touch, just kiss, just peck the ground with control, and then strength driving myself up. That's a full depth lunge, full depth split squat. If depth though is an issue, you can't quite get that far down, I'm fine with you working split squat stance, holding onto a wall, and just going partial. We got to start somewhere. Working partial squat. Notice or partial lunge, whatever you want to call it. I'm up on my toes. I'm not planted with my heel. So be athletic here, up on the toes, and we think straight down, straight up. And you can go partial. But think about this is the working leg. Another great option, instead of holding onto the wall to the side, is a countertop right in front of you, and hold on to that. Something steady though, something sturdy, and that's going to help too. Okay, and then when you start getting, more confident, still hold on to something, but then try to do the step back, kiss the ground with the knee. And then when you're good and you don't need to hold on to something anymore, then it's just body weight. You're not holding on to anything. And then when you get real good, you then can add some weights. I like holding weights at the front rack position, but you can hold here. Okay, so that's lunge. So much explanation. I'd rather give you all the info. Okay, the last move that we're gonna look at is some sort of pulling motion with your upper body. We did the push-up. Now, this is going to require some equipment. Sorry. But come on, go to Walmart, go to Target, get a resistance band at least. I like the bands like this with a handle, or you can get a band like this. So go on Amazon. I don't have any affiliate links because I'm not trying to sell you crap. I'm just giving recommendations. So go to Amazon, look for a resistance band. You might as well start building your at-home gym little by little, and a good step toward that is a resistance band. Last video I showed you the push-up, and that was an elevated push-up on the bench. And so when we look at strength and conditioning programs, you're always going to have some sort of upper body push or press and some sort of upper body pull. And I mean, the most basic thing, but I'm not going to do that on here, is pull-ups, working on your pull-ups. If you have a door pull-up bar or a pull-up bar situation that you can access, start working on your pull-ups. Do as I say, not as I do. I do not work on my pull-ups. I hate them. But anyway, I digress, of course. Pulling. Today, I'm going to show you two banded pulls that I really like. And again, you can do it with either style of band, but the banded pull apart I really like with this style of band. It's a closed band. There's no handles or anything. And all the banded pull is you're going to relax the shoulders down, hold it out in front of the chest, and bring arms out to a T. And that's all it is, which I love how simple this one is. So I really recommend getting a band. I love this one too, because if I've been sitting at my desk, being a desk dweller, oh my gosh, I need to open up the chest and shoulders, strengthen my upper back. And that's what it's doing. It's helping you open up the chest and shoulders. And then when you come back with the band, you're pinching your shoulder blades together. Relax shoulders. I always have to remind clients of that. They want to be like this, nice and tight, and all, tight in the neck. Relax shoulders down and big, strong pull. Now, you can make this harder by, one, having a harder resistance band. This is not a light band, but so the way I make this more resistance is walking or bringing my hands closer together and getting that pull. But it has to continue looking like this. Arms stay straight, nice lock out, nice smooth fluid motion to get the pull instead of this stuff. Yeah, We don't do it that way. So if that's happening to you, another way is you could drop it down to just one, not double it up. Walk the hands out a little bit further apart, and now we can get there. All right. So hopefully you got a band with you. What if I don't have a band? You said I can do this stuff anywhere, anytime. Work on your push-up. Work on your elevated push-up. And then buy the band and then do this video again and do your banded pull-aparts. Okay. That's my solution. If you're like, well, what's an elevated push-up? Go watch my other video. Okay, I'll link it. Just go. You know, I can't give you everything. All right. Again, the banded pull apart with a resistance band like this works just as well. Okay. Now, the other way to do a banded pull is anchoring this, which is really fun. You can also buy a door anchor for a resistance band like this. Get on Amazon, look up resistance band door anchor. Yeah. I'm going to anchor it to my bike. This kind of mimics a cable row that you would see in the gym. I'm just going to relax shoulders down and back and just pull straight to the chest. And again, elbows come straight back, and I pinch the shoulder blades together at the top of that pull. Okay, so that's another way to work your pull. If you have a TRX, great. If you go to a gym, go get on the cable machine, get on the row. You can also do it with this type of band. I'm going to loop it around, and now I'm just going to hold it like that. And this one I can step a little bit further away without getting the bike's going to move. Okay, so again, stay athletic for me when you do this. Feet right under the hips, a little bend in the knees, like you're getting ready to, you know, catch something thrown at you. And you got a straight pull back with the arms. Okay, that is so basic and straightforward. The only thing you're going to need is a band to work your upper body pulling motion. All right, I think that's it. Do y'all want to work out? We want to do a workout that includes hinging, lunging, and banded pulls. Okay, I can make that happen. If you stayed around this long, let me give you a little workout that we can do together. And then you can say that you got your workout in and you worked on these movements. I very much like the idea of doing these style of videos. I don't necessarily care if I'm getting a lot of views. I know it's going to help somebody. But what I like is I'm giving you all this information up front, but then we're going to practice it. What I can't stand about videos on YouTube, and I'm guilty of this, is like I will listen and take in so much information and then I never put it into practice. And that drives me crazy. So I'm hoping with you, with these videos, is you're taking in the information, I'm teaching you something, but then now you're going to put it into practice so you can walk away saying, I did that. All right, I'm going back to interval timer for this one as well. If you did my last video, I explained to you that I like to use an interval timer, especially if you're new to fitness. You just put the timer on and you move for time. You don't get caught up in how many reps and how many sets. I mean, really, your sets for me on these interval timers, we're always going to probably do 3 rounds. And so we're doing these 3 different moves today. We're going to do it a little different though compared to last week. I'm going to kind of bump it up. We're going to do 30 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. And with your hip hinge, you're going to be doing 30 seconds of working on your hinge. That gives you enough time to kind of get in a good rhythm with it, since that might be new for some of you. If you're going to load it up and do like RDLs with dumbbells, cool. If you can do kettlebell swings, do the more explosive hip hinge movement like a kettlebell swing. I trust you know all of that. If you already have that equipment and you've done them, do it. I'm more like beginners. I want to help you. I'm here for you. We're going to work on your hinge. So it can be either, I would recommend having something behind you to really understand that you're not going to bend your knees throughout and that you're hinging at the hip. And then I would even recommend sitting down. Remember, ankles a little more out front, feet more out front, and reaching toward the floor, okay? And working that hinge that way. So we'll do 30 seconds of that. Then you'll get 15 seconds of rest. Then we're going to go into our lunge. Now the lunge situation, what I want to do is split that up. Yeah. split it up. So during the 30 seconds, the first 15 seconds, we're going to work only on one leg. Now, if you're advanced and you want to do 30 seconds of reverse alternating lunge where you're just moving and reversing it the whole 30 seconds, cool. If you're a beginner though, I'd rather you stick with one leg at a time, and I'll let you know when you need to switch, but we're going to do 15 seconds here. And then when I say switch, you'll switch it over and work 15 seconds on the other side. Again, I want you to use the wall for assistance, something to hold on to, and even do a split squat stance and take the lunging back out of the equation. Okay, and then lastly, we'll do banded pulls of some kind. If you don't have a resistance band, go ahead and work on your push-up. That's what I got for you. Work on your elevated push-up. Again, go to my last video if you want to learn how to do that. I'm not going to explain it here. If you got a band, I'm going to do banded pull-aparts. I'm going to relax my shoulders away from my ears and work the banded pull-apart for 30 seconds. We can get a lot of the, work done in 30 seconds with the banded pull-apart. All right, let's work out. I got my interval timer set up. Just listen for me. When I tell you to go, go. When I tell you to rest, rest. Here we go. We're starting with the hinge in 10 seconds. I'm going to start with that phase 1 version of sitting down just to show you. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 30 seconds on the clock. You know what I like about this one too is you get a little stretch through the hips and your adductors, your inner thighs. So that feels good too. But I love this version because it's letting me take the legs out of the equation and just learn the hinge. I do want you to sit tall each time. Go at your own pace. You got 5 seconds. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. We got 15 seconds rest, and we're going to switch over to the reverse lunge or split squat. Go with whatever version works for you. We're going to work one leg at a time, and then I'll tell you when to switch. In 3, 2, 1, we're working one leg at a time for 15 seconds. Drive up through that front heel, stand tall at the top, just kiss the knee to the ground, just a peck, don't fall over, work your balance. I put the clock in the wrong section. Okay, so switch over. Oh, I forgot, I don't get to edit this part. You are now working out with me, and you're like, no, you can't cut anything out, we're going. Good, drive up through the heel. We're almost there. 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, grab your band. We're doing banded pull apart, or you can anchor your band, or if you do not have any kind of band, work your push up. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. You're like, why did she set the clock up right behind her? Because it wasn't charged. That's the only plug that I have. Good. Whew, this one can get spicy because we're going 30 seconds and you can get a lot of reps in. You got 10 seconds, big pull. Relax your shoulders down away from the ears. I'm telling myself that. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, round 1 done. Going back to the hinge. Now I'm going to do that other version I showed you, keeping the bench behind me so I don't lose contact. I'm going to keep the knees slightly bent, but I'm going to stay in contact with the bench. 2, 1. Here we go. We're going to hinge and come back up, staying in contact with the bench behind us. Back stays nice and flat, feeling a stretch in the hamstrings as we come down. Stand tall each time, hips through at the top. Hips through at the top means squeeze your butt at the top too. Why am I out of breath? 10 seconds. It's the talking and explaining and then all that. It's good for me though. In 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, we're going back to the lunge. Reverse alternating lunge is totally fine. I like this staying in one place. I'll show you the split squat though. In 3, 2, 1, we're gonna work one side. I'm pretending like I'm holding on to something for all of you that need to be holding on to something. Remember, you can do a little partial here and not go all the way down to the ground if you're not ready for that. We're gonna switch over pretty soon. Go ahead and switch over. I'm staying in that split squat stance. Ooh, it's raining. get out of town. I'm in the desert and it's raining. Crazy. Feels good. And 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, back to the band. I guess I could show you that anchored, but I have to be careful not to get this bike where it's falling over. I did that and I'm gonna cut that out. In 3, 2, 1, pull. Ooh, Lauren. Yeah, when I was setting this up, I got it on video. Maybe I'll make it a blooper cut, but I pulled the bike right over. I'm so strong. Good. We're here for 15 more seconds. Relax shoulders away from the ears. Pinch shoulder blades together on that pull back. Excellent. In 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, one more round, y'all. And now I'm gonna step away from the bench on this hinge and show you that you can do this without all that assistance, and you could even load it up. So here's what a Romanian deadlift looks like. Feet right under the hips. Oh my gosh, my timer went out. No, it didn't. We're okay. Here we go. Go. So now I'm without all that assistance, and I'm able to keep the knees slightly bent, but never move them throughout this move. So I can really reach back into those hamstrings, pushing the butt and hips back, standing tall at the top. Where are my phones getting wet? It's not coming down, but 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, we're gonna go to lunging, and now I will show you the reverse lunge with some weight, where I'm alternating reverse lunge, so you can see how this gets more advanced for you. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 30 seconds. But if you're new, stick with one side. I will tell you when to switch. Shh. Good job. As I look behind me and fall over, get ready to switch. Okay, go ahead, switch, other leg. But this is what you're trying to get to, is something like this. Weighted, alternating reverse lunge. Gets your heart rate up too. And 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. Good. Okay, last 30 seconds. I'm gonna go back to the banded pull apart because I just really love this move. Opens everything up, strengthens the upper back. 5 seconds, last 30 seconds of work. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Rep it out. Good. We'll get to the end and you'll be good to go. And you say, I actually did what the YouTube video told me to do. Oh, this gets spicy. It gets spicy fast. Good job. You got 5 seconds. In 3, 2, 1, rest. Good. I don't know if your heart rate got up. Mine just shot through the roof for some reason. Bring it down. You did great. I know you did well. The fact that you made it all through this video and are really wanting to move well and move correctly so you can advance yourself to other stuff down the road when we do more workouts on here. I appreciate you for just taking the time to do it. And guess what? Your body and yourself appreciates it. So never give up on yourself, you guys. No matter where you're starting out in anything. We're so hard on ourselves, aren't we? Myself included. So you are doing awesome things no matter where you're starting. And just keep showing up. That's all we can do. Okay, I'm gonna end it there. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Bye.